we all think they're crooks and criminals anyway. And being proven you're a crook and a criminal, the public already think they all are anyway.
He's now trying to roll back and say that he didn't know anything about it, didn't know about her conviction. One of the first sentences in her resignation letter, she says that Starmer knew the lot.
All the other ministers are now going, if he can do her in like that over that, that means he'll do me in over something to protect his skin. So he's now lost trust of many of his ministers. You just mentioned someone a minute ago, and let's talk about them. You mentioned Louise Haigh. Did you think she was going to resign? I tell you what, it took me by surprise. I thought she'd hang in there. I thought Starmer would stand with her. It surprised me that she went.
No, I didn't think she was going to go. And I'm going to say something now people won't like. I don't think she should have gone. I think this is Starmer's problem. He's now trying to roll back and say that he didn't know anything about it, didn't know about her conviction. One of the first sentences in her resignation letter, she says that Starmer knew the lot. Even when she was in the shadow cabinet, he knew everything. So, from my perspective, she tried to claim a mobile phone falsely on the insurance. All right, it's not a good thing to do, but the public would have forgiven that. If it had been communicated properly, the public would have said, in fact, quite a few members of the public would have said, well, I claimed something on the insurance I didn't have either. So, if it's a mobile phone, it's not the Great Train Robbery. If Starmer had come out and said, yes, I knew about this, yes, I think she's the right person for the job, and yes, she's going to continue and I will stand by her, people would have got over it. There might have been a few bad headlines for a couple of days, but they'd have got over it, fine. But he hasn't even got the balls to do that. He has to come out and then start denying that he knew anything. Then they came out and said, oh, new information came to light. Like, there's no new information. This was years ago. This is what I'm talking about with the communications. It's awful. First port of call, cover up. That doesn't work. Shit, we've got to keep lying. We've got to tell some more lies. They're just dreadful people. They really are.
I completely agree. I don't think she had to go for several reasons. The first reason is in this country, we tend to punish criminals once. And once you've done your time and accepted your punishment, we then tend to forgive you. So there's an argument for that. And that's actually the basis of our justice system. So there's a whole argument he could have made to say, she did wrong, she got caught, she accepted a punishment. We just need to move on. The second point is, we all think they're crooks and criminals anyway. And being proven you're a crook and a criminal, the public already think they all are anyway. So it would have blown over after a couple of weeks. It would have been some embarrassing headlines. He'd have been insulted and she'd have been insulted every now and again in the Commons about it. But she could have survived. I'm surprised that when we say she resigned, what really happens is you need to go. You go or I sack you. So that's what she got told. And he's now lost his first minister. All the other ministers are now going, if he can do her in like that over that, that means he'll do me in over something to protect his skin. So he's now lost trust of many of his ministers, and people like her on the backbench and other people now will have it in for him as well, more so than they did before.
There's a lot on those backbenches that got it in for him, especially the ones that were loyal to people like Corbyn, for example. And if you look at some of the people in his own cabinet, they're clearly there because he wants to keep he hasn't got many friends, but certainly keep his enemies closer. Because if somebody's in the cabinet, of course, they're bound by collective responsibility and they can't speak out against him without losing their cushy jobs in whatever ministry they're working in. So, I mean, he's got a lot of enemies in that party. And I think, I know we've said before he might not last till Christmas and that. He will. He'll last till May, I think. May or June.
I'm beginning to change my mind on that.
Yeah, I think he'll limp on until the local elections, and then you'll start to see all it's going to take is one prominent member of the party to come out and resign from the cabinet for whatever reason. They'll try and act all saintly about it, and they'll resign for whatever reason. And Starmer then it'll all like with Boris. When people started resigning, it'll all come crashing down around his ears. After all, who wants the job of taking over the party before May, going into the elections, getting absolutely slaughtered? That's your first act. It's not what you want, is it?
Yeah.